Welcome to Ann Lowry & Associates Healthy Worker Program's online learning modules. In this first module, we will be discussing emotional well-being. You are encouraged to take brief notes on each slide that is discussed, as there is a lot of very helpful and useful information that we will be covering. What is emotional well-being? Emotional well-being refers to the extent to which one's emotions and feelings are balanced and stable. All of us experience emotional ups and downs. This is a normal part of the human experience. However, there are several things that we can do to maximize our emotional well-being, both at home and at the workplace. Emotional well-being is the most often overlooked aspect of overall well-being. Why is this? Mental illness and disorders continue to carry a stigma with them. Mental illness is sometimes seen as a weakness. Consequently, some individuals ignore the signs and symptoms of emotional concerns. Specifically related to the workplace, some employees ignore mental health symptoms or concerns out of fear of their employer finding out that they are experiencing emotional challenges. Your state of mind and emotions is fundamental to your overall health and well-being. If your emotional state is unbalanced or fluctuating, it is difficult to maintain a sense of harmony in your life. Much research shows that negative thoughts, stress, and unpleasant emotions can be very damaging to one's health. Being emotionally healthy does not mean that we must be like everyone else. Being true to ourselves leads to a more satisfying and fulfilling life. One's emotional well-being undoubtedly impacts both one's personal and work life. While some people have pre-existing mental health concerns, job-related stress can contribute to depression, anxiety, and other mental health symptoms. Depression rates among the workforce have been shown to be negatively correlated with productivity and overall job satisfaction. Mental illness accounts for 15% of the burden of disease in developed countries and is the second leading cause of disability and premature mortality in the United States. In any given year, it is estimated that 9.5% of the adult population in the United States will experience some form of depression. The CDC estimates that depression alone causes 20 million lost work days at a cost to employers between $17 and $44 billion annually. These numbers illustrate the importance of addressing mental health issues and emotional wellness both at home and at the workplace. Depression and anxiety are the two most commonly diagnosed mental health disorders. It is possible to experience symptoms of both depression and anxiety without necessarily suffering from a disorder. Most of us have experienced symptoms of anxiety or depression at some point in our lives. As mentioned earlier, it is important to remember that just because we may be experiencing symptoms of depression or anxiety, it does not mean that we are weak. Feelings of sadness and worry are part of the normal human experience. When we acknowledge that we are suffering from symptoms, it allows us to adequately address and work through them. When symptoms are ignored or not addressed, there is risk that they can become worse. So what are the signs and symptoms of depression and anxiety? Let's first take a look at depression. There are several warning signs of depression. The first is depressed mood and feelings of sadness. Maybe you're finding yourself more down than usual. Maybe you just experience a loss or are struggling at work. Again, being occasionally sad is completely normal. However, when it starts impacting your quality of life, it has become a problem. Irritability. Maybe you're noticing that you're much quicker to anger or are snappy with the kids. Irritability is another sign of depression. Lack of interest in activities. If you start noticing that you don't like to do activities you used to enjoy, this can also be a sign of depression. Sleeping problems. Either sleeping too much or not enough. Any changes in your sleep pattern can also be an indication of depression. Maybe you're sleeping too much or not enough. changes in diet and weight. People that experience depression may also notice either a weight gain or weight loss. This tends to vary between individuals. Some people may use food to comfort themselves when they're feeling depressed, while others may have a poor appetite and may find eating difficult. Feelings of hopelessness and helplessness. Finding yourself feeling hopeless about your current situation or the future can also be a sign of depression, as can feeling helpless and that you have no control over your life. Poor self-esteem. If you're finding yourself feeling bad or getting down on yourself, this is also a sign of depression. Self-harm thinking. Having any thoughts of harming yourself is very serious, whether or not you think you would actually follow through with anything. If you experience any self-harm thinking, please contact someone and seek help. Now let's discuss some of the symptoms and signs of anxiety. You notice that anxiety shares many of the same symptoms of depression. Further, anxiety and depression are frequently seen together in the same individual, and symptoms sometimes occur in a cycle. If you think about it, being depressed all the time is likely to cause someone to also feel anxious, and conversely, it has to be pretty depressing to be constantly anxious and worried. The two tend to feed off one another in a vicious cycle. The following are common symptoms of anxiety: nervousness, excessive worry, irritability, fatigue, changes in sleep patterns, muscle tension, and feeling keyed up or on edge. If you find yourself experiencing any of the identified symptoms of anxiety, it may be a good idea to talk to a mental health professional. Now let's discuss some common signs of anxiety. You'll notice that anxiety shares many of the same symptoms of depression. Further, anxiety and depression are frequently seen together in the same individual, and symptoms sometimes occur in a cycle. If you think about it, being depressed all the time is likely to cause someone to feel anxious, and conversely, it has to be pretty depressing to be constantly anxious and worried. The two tend to feed off one another in a very vicious cycle. The following are common symptoms of anxiety: nervousness, excessive worry, irritability, fatigue, changes in sleeping patterns, muscle tension, feeling keyed up or on edge. If you find yourself experiencing any of the identified symptoms of either anxiety or depression, it may be a good idea to talk to a mental health professional. Now let's do a brief exercise. Stress is often a precursor to more serious mental health symptoms. I want you to identify two things that have caused you stress in the past several weeks. This may be stress related to work, or maybe you're experiencing something difficult in your personal life. How did this stress impact you emotionally? What feelings did this stress evoke? How have you responded to this stress? And what are you doing to take care of yourself? Please take a few minutes to think about these questions. So it is likely that everyone was able to identify at least one thing in your life that has been stressful in the past several weeks. Here are some of the more commonly identified sources of stress that impact people's lives: work-related stress, financial difficulties, relationship difficulties or the end of a primary relationship, parenting challenges, or health-related concerns. Just like we need to take care of our bodies in order to maintain our physical health, it is important to ensure that we are also attending to our psychological and emotional well-being. So, how do we maintain our emotional well-being in the face of all of these stressors? To assist us in thinking about what it means to be emotionally balanced, let's take a look at the 6 components of emotional well-being outlined by Carol Reif. According to Reif, there are 6 components that are necessary for maximum emotional wellness. The first is self-acceptance. Self-acceptance refers to the affirmation or acceptance of oneself in spite of perceived weaknesses. Personal growth. Personal growth occurs when we engage in activities and endeavors that foster personal identity development and enhance our quality of life. Purpose in life. Purpose in life refers to the extent to which we feel we are driven to do something in our lives. Environmental mastery. Environmental mastery refers to our ability to feel like we have some semblance of control in our lives, and that if we need to make a change, we can make it. The next is autonomy. Autonomy is our ability to make independent, informed decisions in our lives without feeling coerced. Positive relationships with others. Forming positive relationships with others is crucial for our emotional well-being. We will go into more specific detail in future modules, but let's briefly discuss ways that we can maximize and maintain our emotional wellness. The first is through diet and nutrition. A healthy diet is known not only to improve one's physical health, but it also has an impact on our emotional wellness. The next is exercise. Exercise is also known to improve our mood, and it helps us manage our stress. Sleep. Ensuring that you're getting enough sleep to get through your day is also crucial for maintaining emotional wellness. Having a work-life balance. A work-life balance refers to whether or not the time we spend at work and in our personal lives is balanced. When we spend too much time at work and do not have the energy to invest in our personal lives, our emotional wellness is negatively impacted. Having hobbies and activities. Finding enjoyment in life through participation in various hobbies and activities increases our sense of emotional wellness. Social connections. Maintaining social connections is important, not only so we have individuals that we can enjoy activities with, but it also provides us with social support when we are going through a difficult time. Stress management and reduction. There are various strategies for reducing your overall stress. These strategies will be discussed in more depth in future modules. Meditation and mindfulness. Meditation and mindfulness have been found to reduce stress and positively impact our emotional well-being. Meditation and mindfulness will also be discussed in future modules. Talking with somebody about how you are feeling. For some, it may be helpful to have a therapist or other mental health professional to regularly talk to. There is a misconception that one has to have serious issues to talk to a therapist. However, it's nice to sometimes have an extra person in your life that can offer support. In this module, we have given you a basic understanding of emotional wellness and the importance of maintaining an emotionally balanced life. In the next module, we will look more specifically at various stress reduction and wellness strategies.